Today we are going to talk about attachment styles. Attachment styles are learned. They can be unlearned and relearned. If somebody has a secure attachment style, they learn that the world is about connection. And for the individual who has an insecure attachment style, they learn that the world is about survival. Being in a marriage or being in a committed partnership with somebody who's avoidant can be very lonely. It can be very isolated. One of the telltale signs that you have acquired a secure attachment style is how you communicate about your emotional needs and how you're able to regulate anxiety. Hi guys, welcome back to Therapy Tales episode 2. It's so exciting to do this. I've been wanting to do this for such a long time, so it's really exciting to do this. So episode 1, we talked about what therapy is, the good, the bad, the ugly, the funny, the not so funny. Today we are going to talk about attachment styles. And I love them because they are both scientific, it's observable, and it impacts all of us. So what are attachment styles? You got to understand two main premises or observations or conclusions about attachment style. Attachment, without using so much scientific jargon, attachment generally just means how you emotionally connect with other people. So attachment is literally how you connect with other people and basically how you connect with yourself emotionally. It's important to understand that we learn attachment styles between the ages of 0 to 3. Some scientific data says 0 to 5. But we learn it. It's important that I say that we learn attachment styles so that you understand that because attachment styles are learned, they can be unlearned and relearned. So what are the basic attachment styles that we have? We have two main attachment styles, secure and insecure. If it was me, I would not name them that way. But then again, this is my forehead being forward. So wacha tubaki tu na hizo majina. Secure and insecure. So for secure, an observation is made. If somebody has a secure attachment style, they learn that the world is about connection. They go out there, they contribute, they give, they relate. There's some confidence about it. And for the individual who has an insecure attachment style, they learn that the world is about survival. So there's a lot of protection. With every interaction of another human being, they have to protect themselves because they were taught the world is not a safe place. The world is about survival. Okay? To me understand, increasing or decreasing or creasing, whichever. I hope you've understood. Now, let's look at attachment styles in detail. So, as somebody who's securely attached, it's not somebody who, they're not perfect. They are balanced. They know they struggle with anxiety and fear, but they also know that they have the capability to regulate anxiety and fear. So a securely attached person will communicate their emotional needs. They'll communicate their values. They'll communicate their fears. They'll communicate their uncertainties. They're not doing it unafraid. They're doing it afraid, but they're still communicating because they know the fear doesn't necessarily have to mean anything. So that's a secure attachment style. Now let's dive deeper into insecure attachment style. There are three main subtypes of insecure attachment style. The first is disorganized attachment style. This is what it means. Anxiety comes up. You do something to distract you from the anxiety. So if I feel anxious, I say, okay, maybe let me watch a series. As I am watching the series, I realize, this anxiety hasn't gone down. So I say, let me pause. Let me go and make popcorns. After you make popcorns, you're still realizing the anxieties. Bado iko, haijaenda chini. Then you stop. Then you're like, maybe let me go sleep. As you're sleeping, you realize the anxiety is not. So ideally, disorganized is start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Meaning you feel anxious, you approach the anxiety, it becomes too much, you stop, you disengage a lot. So disorganized attachment style will be accompanied by a lot of projects that have started and have not been in completion. But how does a disorganized attachment style look like in a relationship? Let's say you're in a relationship and your partner is away. You're comfortable to calling them, telling them, I miss you. I can't wait for you to come. This is what I want us to do. When your partner comes into close proximity, both physically and emotionally, you kind of want to push them away. That's how a disorganized attachment looks like. Tumeshika, shika. Great. The second attachment style is an anxious attachment style. As the word suggests, this is an attachment style that is highly anxious and highly fearful. And the person who has a fearful, anxious style, they're constantly worried. It's the what ifs. What if this doesn't happen? What if I do this and it doesn't come into play? What if my partner doesn't love me? Yeah, my partner say they love me today, but what if tomorrow they don't? There's a lot of anxious thoughts and anxiety around them. So we've looked at disorganized, we've looked at anxious. Now we're going to look at dismissive or avoidant. I must say, there's an element of shame that is around the avoidant attachment style. And maybe if I have time, I'll try and expound more on that. But an avoidant attachment style, this is somebody who generally avoids any kind of emotions. They avoid any kind of interactions. They avoid any kind of emotions. Please forgive the drilling if you can hear it. There are some people constructing around and we can't control that. So just vumilia tu itaisha. So somebody who has an avoidant attachment style, avoid any kind of interaction emotionally. Now, for me, I don't know, other therapists, for me, I have seen an observation. If you're in a relationship with somebody who's avoidant, we normally say, well, I've observed they're the best boyfriend, but they become almost not the best husbands, or they're the best girlfriends and they're not the best wives. And it's not a judgment, it's just an observation. What does this mean? When you're dating somebody who's avoidant, they're agreeable. So you say, hey, can we go and watch this movie? They'll be like, yeah, is that what you want to do? Yeah. So you, you're receiving that as somebody who cares and they want to be with you. But them, they're agreeable to you because remember, there's a need to not detach. They don't want any kind of emotional interaction. And any kind of emotional interaction can look like arguments, conflict, kuzozana, kuvutana, pale na pale. So when you're dating, they're agreeable to everything. And when you're dating, you're the one who takes the lead in a lot of the things in your relationship. Now, when you get married or when you get into a serious, committed relationship, you want somebody to take ownership or leadership. They're like, no, you do what you want to do. So being in a marriage or being in a committed partnership with somebody who's avoidant can be very lonely. It can be very isolated. Okay. So what do we do with attachment styles? And why are all this? What's happening with all this talk? When you're dating, it's good to, even if you're doing one session, it's fine. Go and see a marriage and family therapist. It's good to have your attachment style assessed, because your attachment style, when you get the assessment of your attachment style, it actually tells you the levels of anxiety and the levels of avoidance. And it actually brings into light, into your brain, how you relate so that you stop feeling like you're the problem. So therapy is that one place that you can come and learn about your attachment style. And by the way, attachment style are just not in relationships. They're also in your workplace. They're based on your religious experiences, like how you connect emotionally with God. Excuse me. They're based on how you parent your children if you're a parent. They're based on the various roles that you get into. So attachment styles are literally the essence of how we emotionally connect and how we emotionally relate as human beings. Okay. So what do we do with this information? When you come into therapy, emotion regulation is one of the things that will help you acquire a secure attachment style. So your therapist will help you with various mechanisms of emotional regulation. It can be breathing, it can be physical exercise, it can be some somatic experiences. It's just an array. We have many that we help clients go through because you just can't use one. So attachment styles help us understand how we relate with ourselves and how we relate with the outer world. A client once asked me, if I have an insecure attachment style, can I get a secure attachment style? Yes, you can. Because attachment styles are learned and subsequently they are relearned. If you notice, I didn't get into the science so much of how we grew up. So maybe let me just slightly touch on that because I don't want to bore you with a lot of science. When our primary caregivers meet our emotional needs consistently, we're not talking about perfect parent, we're talking about present parent. When they meet our emotional needs as children consistently, we develop a secure attachment style. Because in psychology, we say before the child has the identity of I, the child has an identity of we. So the child sees the world through the eyes of the primary caregiver. And so if the eyes of the primary caregiver are fractured, the child learns that there's something wrong with them. And basically, that's how we develop attachment style. So for a child who has a parent who emotionally meets their needs, we call it emotional attunement. Based on the age of the child, that child develops a secure attachment style. Now, what about the other attachment style? So I'll start with avoidant. This is a home where children learned that you don't feel because if you feel, you're inconveniencing your parents. So the child learn how to detach from their emotions so that they don't inconvenience their parents. Have you ever guys had, like, maybe you go to family gatherings and then you have maybe like a small kakas in there and the parents are like, huyu ni mtoto mzuri, huyu hata aliangi, huyu ni mtoto mzuri sana. That's a huge no, because children should be, I'll say this carefully, children should be naughty, children should be cheeky because it's a part of their development. I didn't say children should be disobedient. They should be obedient, but in an emotionally attuned way. So if you grew up being the good child, chances are if you do your assessment style, you'll see it. So for avoidant, these are children who lived in an environment where they were never allowed to feel. And so the child learned to detach from how they feel. And subsequently, so they learned that if they feel, they're causing the external environment to be inconveniencing for their parents. So they don't want to do that. With an anxious attachment style, these are, somebody has called them helicopter parents. They're just constantly hovering. Has my child eaten? So the child grows up with a lot of anxiety and a lot of worry, and they learn that's how they actually emotionally connect. And with disorganized, science shows that these are children whose sometimes their needs were met and sometimes they were not met. So there was no consistency. And that's how we develop our attachment style. Now, how will you know that you have healed from your insecure attachment style or you have acquired a secure attachment style? Generally, how you perceive yourself and how you relate with other people. You're not afraid of losing somebody who doesn't value you. Now, I'm not of, I'm the best. We need each other. We need to emotionally connect with each other. But secure attachment style looks like this person isn't good for me because they're hurting me constantly. And it's saying, as much as I love you, I think it's time that we separate and we set our paths on different ways. So one of the telltale signs that you have acquired a secure attachment style is how you communicate about your emotional needs and how you're able to regulate anxiety. So we've learned about attachment styles. We've learned about how they look like in relationships. We've learned about how we acquired attachment styles. And we've learned some of the telltale signs of knowing that you have a secure attachment style. I truly hope this has been beneficial. Thank you so much for staying with me and my forehead. We love you so much. Thank you for subscribing to this channel, Therapy Tales, and keep it locked. We're going to be discussing some pretty exciting and fun stuff. Goodbye.